but it is a scroll or a book sealed with 7 seals. The seal, of course, would have been wax, right? A blob of wax, melted, usually impressed with some sort of signet ring or some sort of other imprint that would have given indication to the receiver who the sender was, the authority of the sender, those kind of things. But in suggesting that this scroll is sealed, what does that mean? What is this suggesting? It's a sealed scroll.
Because inside is not meant to receive by your reach.
Okay, it's not, I mean, you sealed something so that it would protect the message, so once you received it, right, the person who received it would know nobody's tampered with the contents. Nobody else is seeing this. What else could we say about it being sealed? All right, there wasn't time to open it. Anything else? The other thing that I came up with, those were ones I came up with as well, is that the contents can't be changed. Right? If it's sealed, somebody can't be changing it. Right? So it's hidden. It's for a specific audience. Right? It can't be changed. But how about being sealed with 7 seals? Go ahead, right? Completion, right? It's completely sealed. It's perfectly sealed. Nobody is going to know this until someone starts opening it, right? It's not going to be known. So how is it sealed? This gets back into the whole, is it a book or a scroll? Because various people have suggested different things. So some people have suggested, okay, we have this scroll, right, which would be a pretty big scroll, and as it's rolled up on the crease, right, it's 7 seals right there, right? And so you have to open the seals before you can unroll the scroll. Another possibility would be you would have a scroll, right, one scroll sealed, another scroll wrapped around it, sealed, another scroll wrapped. Unlikely. Usually didn't happen that way, but it's symbolic, right? So I mean, it could look like just about anything the way Revelation goes. If it's more of a codex, right, more like a book shape, we could think of it as like a couple pages are sealed together, and then another couple pages sealed together, and another couple pages. And so, as far as like thinking about, how does this look? Because it's a very visual experience we're having here with John, right? And so thinking, okay, so how does this look? And then a lot of it also, people said, with the right hand. Is it in his right hand or on his right hand? Because the preposition could be translated either way. Right? And so we think of a scroll, we think it's in the hand. If it's a codex, it would be on his hand. Really, yes, it doesn't really matter too much. But one of the things that it does kind of bring up is this question of the message of the seal, or the message of the scroll. Right? If it is that it's sealed with 7 seals on its crease, then perhaps the message of the scroll isn't until those first 7 seals are open, which means the message starts in chapter 8, not chapter 6. I tend to think that the message of the scroll starts in chapter 6 as the seals are broken. All right? And so we're getting the message of the scroll with that. So here we have this book, or scroll, sealed with 7 seals, totally sealed, completely sealed. The contents hidden. And so John sees a mighty angel. Now, anybody think there's something odd about that phrase, a mighty angel?
It goes without saying that the typical big angels are kind of mighty in our minds.
Right. I mean, what would a weak angel look like? So angels are by nature mighty, right? So Why call this angel? Because there's several times it'll be emphasized, a mighty angel or a strong angel. Why emphasize that? Why? Okay, so it might have to do with the different levels. We know there was an archangel, Archangel Michael, so it might have to do with the order of angels. What else might be a possibility for why using the term mighty here?
Separate from the angel of the Lord.
Okay, might be, again, that kind of distinction between heavenly beings.
Or just go to the messenger translation of angel, as we speak, someone that has a mighty message.
All right, so I mean certainly he comes to proclaim, and we'll see the proclamation. The other thing I was thinking was the question that he's going to ask is, who is worthy to open the seals? And yet here's this mighty angel, right? And he's not worthy. So who is the one that's going to be powerful enough to do this? So by emphasizing mighty, it's really emphasizing the strength of this being here, particularly with the question, right? Who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals? And there's two actions here: to open the book, or to open the scroll, to break its seals. And so the mighty angel here is acting like God's spokesperson, calling out a proclamation or an announcement. But if a mighty angel can't open it, who can? And now, of course, you've read the chapter, you can probably figure it out for yourself. But in a sense, that's what we're kind of seeing here. If this mighty angel can't do it, who truly can? And what we're going to receive here in this chapter is really a lesson about strength. The one who is worthy here is not based on strength or ability. Otherwise, wouldn't this mighty angel be able to do it? And so when the angel calls out, who is able to, or who is worthy to open the scroll and break its seals, what's the response? And so John finds out, after this search, in a sense, is done, that no one is found worthy. The angel calls out for the one worthy to open it, and there's silence. No creature, no person is worthy to do this. And how does John respond when he finds out that no one is worthy to open the scroll? He weeps. Now, why? Yeah, part of it probably is, I want to know what's inside of it. Right? John had been told he would receive knowledge, right? Come and see, verse 1 of chapter 4. Come up here and I will show you what must take place after this. So he's been promised knowledge, and now he can't receive that knowledge. Why else might this lead him to weep?
Just the fact that no one on heaven or on earth or below, or all these options, no one is worthy.
Yeah, this kind of, that nobody is worthy. And some commentators have also suggested maybe John even has in mind, maybe Jesus isn't worthy. Right? Because nobody's been found. And so maybe John has this moment of doubt, so to speak, of, here I've committed my life to it, now no one's able to reveal this. Will no one reveal what God has decided? Are God's plans being thwarted because no one is able to do this? But one of the 24 elders, of course, says to him, do not weep. In a sense, John has misunderstood the answer. He thinks no one is worthy to open the seals, but there is somebody worthy to open the scroll. Who's the one that's worthy? What's the the answer is Jesus. But what's John told? The Lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David. The lion is the most mentioned animal in the Old Testament. I didn't happen to know that. I found it as I was looking up something else. But of course, the lion, very important. What about this tribe of Judah? What's that all about? Line of the tribe of Judah. What is the tribe of Judah? All right, one of the 12 tribes of Israel.
The royal tribe.
The royal tribe, right? And especially the tribe that Jesus came from, right? So it's one of the 12 tribes of Israel, the tribe that the kings come from, and it's the tribe that Jesus comes from. So what about this lion of the tribe of Judah? Well, let's look back at a passage from the book of Genesis. In Genesis chapter 49, to kind of set the stage, Israel, Jacob, has found out that his son Joseph is alive and second in command to Pharaoh. In Egypt, there's a huge famine. It leads Israel and his family down there. And shortly before Jacob's death, he calls his family, calls his sons to him, and speaks blessings to them, kind of prophesies to them about things to come. Somebody read verses 9 and 10 of chapter 49 there.
Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, you have gone up. He bows down, he lies down as a lion. And as a lion, who shall rouse him? The scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet, until Shiloh comes. And to him shall be the obedience of the people.
So this connection between the image of a lion and the tribe of Judah was a very, very old one, right, from the very beginning. But why? What does the lion suggest? Whether Judah or calling him the lion of the tribe of Judah, what's the symbol behind the lion?
Bravery and power.
Okay, bravery, power. What else? Right, the lion, the king of beasts, right? And so power and royalty, nobility, fearsome. And so even some Jewish writings had interpreted Genesis 49:9 as messianic, talking about the Messiah. So the lion of the tribe of Judah. But he's also called the root of David. This too has some Old Testament background. But we'll just take the time to look at Isaiah chapter 11 and verse 10. So somebody get Isaiah 11 and verse 10, please.
In that day there shall be a root of Jesse, who shall stand as a banner to the people. For the Gentiles shall seek him, and his resting place shall be glorious.
All right, so the root of Jesse, of course, David, the son of Jesse, and so David's connected there as well. Other things talked about in verse 1 of there in chapter 11. So it too has kind of an Old Testament background. How does this figure into the identification of this person? What does it mean to be the root of David?
It's like the tree, the family tree.
All right, so there's the idea of descent, but what's the root? Right? Elsewhere Jesus is called the branch from David, but in saying he's the root of David, right? Because when you think about like a family tree, the roots are the ancestors, and as you go down, you're the branches, and so Jesus is physically descended from David, but by calling him the root, he's also the source of David. Right? And so all these messianic ideas, divine concepts, all here. And it is the lion of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, who is worthy because he has conquered. Right? Jesus has overcome. He has conquered. And of course that would bring back to those early hearers, chapter 2, chapter 3, after every letter, to the one who overcomes, right? To the one who conquers. And of course the very end of chapter 3, where he said to the church at Laodicea, verse 21, to the one who conquers I will give a place with me on my throne, just as I myself conquered and sat down with my Father on his throne. And so the Lion of the tribe of Judah, the Root of David, Jesus, has conquered. That's why he's worthy. He's worthy to open the scroll. So one has been found who's worthy. He has the characteristics to open the scroll. Now, based on what we've seen so far, right, don't jump ahead on it. Based on what we've seen so far, we're kind of led to believe that his characteristics for being worthy to open the scroll has to do with what's just been said. So what are those characteristics? Based on what the elder tells John, what are the kind of characteristics that we're kind of led to believe have made this person worthy to open the scroll? All right, powerful, right? He's the lion. All right, his victory, right? He's conquered, and so you probably think military success, right? He's some sort of victory. All right, the source of the great king, and so there's royalty, there's majesty. Those are the kinds of characteristics we're kind of led to believe are the things that have made this person worthy. But then John turns to see this person. Unnoticed till now, one has come forward to open the seals. Now, there could be a couple of things going on here. And it could be that this person, this being, has just now entered the throne room. Or it could be that in all the other things that have been going on, John has overlooked him. As much as we'd say, how is that possible? You know, I mean, think about all the wonderful things that John's been seeing and hearing, and what he turns to see. Between the throne and the living creatures, and among the elders, John turns and sees what? He sees a lamb. So he's been told a lion has been found to open the seals. And he turns and sees a lamb. And how does John describe the lamb? It's not just like he sees a lamb. What does a lamb look like? Right? It looks like it's been slaughtered or slain. Now, in describing the lamb as being slaughtered or slain, of course, we'll jump the gun, right? We're thinking crucifixion, all right? But what's the image evoking? A lamb that is slain. Sacrifice. Innocence. What kind of Old Testament concepts would fit into those things? Sacrificed lamb. Passover. All right? So there are probably some connotations connected with Passover. In 1 Corinthians 5, Paul will talk about Christ, our Passover lamb, has been offered for us. It might also be Isaiah 53 and verse 7. Like a lamb before its shears is done, so he opened not his mouth. He was led like a sheep to the slaughter. Right? That great passage about the servant of God, the Messiah. And so that might too be what's being evoked here. We know in John chapter 1, of course, John the Baptist identifies Jesus as, "Behold the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world." Right? So we know who this is. Right? And of course, from John chapter 20 and verse 27, when Jesus encounters Thomas a week after his resurrection, what does he ask Thomas to do? All right? Stick your finger in my hands. Put your hand in my side. Why?
So it would be any doubt.
All right, because Thomas has been doubting that Jesus is alive. But what does that tell us about Jesus' body? It still bears the scars of the crucifixion. Right? And so he sees a lamb that looks like it's been slain. Jesus kind of still bearing the marks of the crucifixion. So he hears the Lion of the tribe of Judah. He's thinking power, he's thinking majesty, he's thinking military success. He turns and he sees sacrifice. And that's the power that God is truly looking for. Told that the worthy one was a conqueror, but it's the slaughtering that has led to the conquering. Right? It's the slaughtering, of course, the crucifixion. The Lamb has 7 horns and 7 eyes. And I just realized, I just happened to look at this, I have no idea why I put the number 7 and then wrote out the other 7. Well, what's symbolized by the horns? What would a horn symbolize? Maybe, but it probably just power in general. Right? And so, frequently in the Psalms, the psalmist will talk about, you have strengthened my horn, or you lifted up the horn. And so the horn often was used interchangeably for the idea of power or strength. Right? So having 7 horns, okay, perfect power, complete strength. How about the eyes, having 7 eyes? What characteristics are being described here? Right, so perception, knowledge, seeing, right, so complete power, complete strength, all-knowing, all-perceiving. The Lamb is worthy. And so the Lamb approaches to take the scroll. Okay, again, very symbolic, because just think about it a minute. How's a lamb going to take the scroll? And don't you need opposable thumbs, right? Something in his mouth, right? So don't push the image too far. But he comes forward to take the scroll. The Lamb is worthy not only to open the scroll, but to approach the throne. I mean, when you think about it, you had to have some worth to even approach the throne. And he's able to take it directly from the one on the throne as opposed to somebody having to hand it to him, a mediator, but he's able to approach. And here too, might be echoing that Daniel chapter 7 passage, because the Son of Man is presented before the Ancient of Days on his throne, Daniel chapter 7 and verse 13.